Hi. Today we are talking about happiness, a beautiful subject. Your circumstances don't dictate your happiness. You do. We tend to forget that happiness doesn't come as a result of getting something we don't have. You probably have the experience. You wanted to buy this new phone and finally you get it and you're so happy and you play with it for 2 3 days, but after a while the excitement is gone and you are looking for the next excitement. Real happiness comes from recognizing and appreciating what you have, a sense of gratitude, right? Now, most importantly, to understand is we have the power to create our own happiness. I give you a little sample how I created my happiness today. Okay? Well, I woke up, I look around the room, my wonderful wife, beautiful place, the picture of my beautiful daughters. I feel so grateful. I think about it and I go, God, life, universe, whatever you choose to believe, thank you for everything that I do have in my life. Then I usually read in the mornings. I read great books and think about them, meditate on them, and fills me with energy and good ideas. And then I went for a run. When I'm running, I know I'm exercising, I'm making progress in my health, but I take the time to enjoy the moment, to feel the fresh air in my face and the warm sunshine and people around. There's many children in the stadium exercising. I look at them. I'm so blessed to live in such a beautiful city with such wonderful people. Then I come back home. I have breakfast with my daughter. We talk, we laugh, we discuss the day ahead. Then it comes time to go to the office. I drive there. I arrive. I give a hug to my staff. I tell them how wonderful they are. Happy? Absolutely. I created my own happiness by the way I choose to think and the way I choose to act. So the main point that please understand today is that your circumstances don't dictate your happiness. You do. I've been in very, very poor places when I met such amazingly happy people. And I always wonder how can they be so happy in such simple surroundings? Because they are focusing on what they have, not what they don't have. I mean, have you ever been in such a situation? Maybe you went to holidays to some island and you ended up in some small town, in some developing country maybe. And then you look at the local people, fishermen or farmers, and you find some of the happiest people in the world living in such poor, you may call, or simple places. Now, why is that? Because these people, they have mastered the art of fulfillment. Now, what it means, the art of fulfillment? Well, they have learned to be grateful for what they have. Living in the present, enjoying the small pleasures of life. Usually these people are very active in their communities. They help each other and they have love and support from family and friends because they need each other to survive. Now, in the other side, I'm also been in very rich countries and come to homes of very rich people. And I have seen sometimes the opposite. The saddest thing is when a person achieves financial success and still looks or feels unhappy, lonely, and frustrated inside. Think about it. Sometimes we go looking for happiness in the wrong places. We try to create happiness on the outside by buying things, taking trips to exotic places, having dinners at expensive restaurants, and so on. And even though those things, yes, they bring us a certain amount of pleasure and happiness, the minute that experience is gone, happiness stops. Because unless we learn to be content on the inside, we'll be depressed again as soon as the experience we created has ended. Happiness, then, is a state of being, and you have the power to determine what happens in your life and how do you see what happens in your life, as a blessing or a curse. I mean, life is life. You gotta be bombarded with good things and bad things. But your approach to what happens to you is extremely important. Is life teaching you something, helping you to grow, or is life crushing you? The good news is that you can learn to be happy inside without always needing to depend on situations, or money, or material things, or even other people. Because it all starts and ends in your mind. The way you train your brain to see and to react to situations that you face in your everyday life. Now, I've talked to you about this before, right? Our whole brain is made for survival, not for happiness. Our brain is trained to look for problems to protect you from them. You know, it's a survival mode. This is why we need to learn to control the way we focus, control the way we think, and the meaning that we are giving to what's happening to us daily. Like Aristotle said, happiness depends upon ourselves. I mean, you can think about things as horrible and dwell on all the negative and the ugly, or you can train your mind to see that there is always opportunity even in the most significant defeat or failure. To be honest, I'm older than maybe most of you, but I've come to a point in my life when I don't really have too much fears anymore. And one of the reasons is because I have learned that every problem has a solution. So when I'm faced with a problem now, I just said, okay, let's find the solution. Instead of getting upset and depressed and angry and, I just say, okay, we have this situation, this challenge. I don't even call it problem anymore. I call it challenges. And what can we do to overcome it? And there's always a solution. Every problem has a solution. And if it's nothing you can do about it, then forget about it and move on. Why waste time in something that you have no control, right? Life is like that. It's full of good and not so good experiences. And our job is to learn to hold on to the good things and let go of the bad ones. Now, the problem that some of us have is that we love to hold on to bad experiences. We love to file and store it in our minds and check on it regularly. Some people love to dwell in the mire of negative feelings, and because we are collecting them all the time. Thoughts, what would happen to us. And as a result, sometimes we have what is called a disturbed mind. And then we wonder why we are not happy. When big tragedies happens to us, we learn to deal with it. We have no choice. If somebody dies, you have no choice. You have to accept it and deal with it. We are forced to seek answers to big problems. We accept the consequences and we prepare ourselves to deal with them because we have no choice. And after this big problem passes, because yes, all things eventually pass, we realize we have grown and learned and have become better as a result of the experience. You know what the problem is? The real problem is not the big things that happen to us. The real problem is the little things. These are the things that bother us and make us upset and frustrated. And we subconsciously do not let go, but keep in the back of our minds all the time. The car that cut us off in traffic, or the rude person we met on the way, or the lazy coworker, or the weather, or your mother-in-law, or the list goes on. Things that people do, little things that are maybe not very good, they're not even under our control. But we make them, we take them, put them inside our hearts, our minds, and we keep them there. These are the things we need to learn to let go. Relax and let it pass. Because if you keep it and store it, you will be walking around like a ticking bomb ready to explode, and many people actually do. They do explode at the slightest provocation. And you don't understand why they're overreacting in some situations. Have you ever said something to your spouse, or friend, or coworker, and they reacted in anger? And you wonder, hey, it's not such a big deal. What happened? Because probably what you said was just the last drop in a collection of little negative things that happened to that person that they stored faithfully until the lid blew off in a mighty explosion of frustration and anger. So the main lesson for happiness is that things that you cannot control, you need to let go. Don't stack up all these negative emotions in your life. People who typically store all these little unpleasant things through the day reap unhappiness as a result. Then they go to a bar to get drunk and relax and forget and try to be happy. You control the story you tell yourself about any situation. What is your story? We all have an inside story of how life is supposed to be. Sometimes we write that story as we are growing up, what we hope to achieve, our dreams and aspirations, how people are supposed to react or be, or how life is supposed to happen. Now the problem is that we live in a society that defines success and happiness with just having money and accomplishing these great things, and when in reality, what does it really mean? A school teacher cannot be happy. You're gonna measure happiness by money and material accomplishments. That means that a school teacher cannot be happy, or a stay-at-home mother that is raising her kids to be worthy human beings. that mother is not successful. When you meet people, some of the first questions is, what do you do? As if what you do for a living determines your value as a person. Don't go in that trap. It's not right. A beautiful life, a happy existence, is the one that fulfills what it was destined to accomplish on this earth. In other words, you are in control of your happiness. You are happy when the reality you experience every day corresponds with the story of how you think your life should be. That's one reason I'm always in a good mood and very happy person, because my life, my family, my wife, my children, my work, it all corresponds to how I want life to be. And the happiness I get from everything I do mostly comes from giving. not seeking to receive, but giving love to other people, starting from my personal family, going to my staff in my office, and the work that I do. And you are unhappy when your reality does not match with your story. And then you have pain and disappointment. So it's extremely important that you put your life in perspective. What are the real values of life that are worth fighting for? Don't waste time on trivialities and things that are actually not important. And especially, don't waste your happiness on what people think. And the two most important needs, I think, for a human being that are very essential are number one, growth. We are happy when we are growing and progressing in one or any area of our lives. And the second is contribution. We are really happy human beings when we are giving to society, when we're adding value to others, when we help someone and have not only money, but also meaning and purpose in our lives, love in our hearts. Life has given us many gifts. Think about it. We have intelligence, we have health, we have opportunities. So we need to open our hearts and we need to learn to master life. Do not allow life to master you. Learn to create the happiness that you desire, that you deserve, by making the right decisions because they control your life. And one of the best decisions you can make is to decide you are going to be happy. You're going to live in a good state of mind, with love and without fears. And to end this video, I want to remind you that happy people do better in every area of their life. Happiness is an advantage. So what is keeping you from being happy? Do you see life as an obstacle to happiness? Or do you see everything as a blessing to be appreciated? You know, Abraham Lincoln, the President of the United States in the past, he said, most people are as happy as they make their minds to be. And that's true. So smile today and give your love to someone else. Happiness comes not just to seeking happiness for yourself, but also from giving happiness to others. It was great to have you with me today. Come back next week for one more video with Francis. Goodbye.